Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. This is Cypherbox. So I kind of just want to touch on this news about Manuel Charr. Manuel Charr, as you know, tested positive for 2 anabolic steroids back in September. And I saw an article on BoxingScene.com, and I've just seen an interview on IFL TV with Jarrell Miller, which kind of contradict each other a little bit in a sense. So let me run you what the article says. Basically the article says that the WBA have voted to suspend Manuel Charr for his failed Vada test back in September for the 2 anabolic steroids that he tested positive for. Charr's attorney told BoxingScene.com that on Wednesday through a conference call that the WBA will not be stripping Manuel Charr. Therefore, they won't sanction Miller versus Dinu on Saturday for the WBA regular title because Charr hasn't been stripped of it, right? Now, the article does state why Manuel Charr is not being stripped of the WBA regular title, right? Apparently, there was an undisclosed issue related to the testing process, which has prevented the WBA from stripping Manuel Charr. Now, I just saw an interview on IFL TV, right? So this article from BoxingScene.com was uploaded yesterday at 12:40, and the interview that was conducted by IFL TV with Jarrell Miller was conducted yesterday on Wednesday as well and uploaded today. Now, Jarrell Miller in that interview stated that he said that even though Charr, regardless of the fact that Charr had one sample that tested positive and the other sample tested negative, it's still classed as a failed test. So I'm guessing that's the undisclosed issue that the WBA are referring to. Miller also went on to say that the title will be vacant and he and Dinu will fight for the vacant title come Saturday. He also said that he heard the WBA will give Manuel Charr the opportunity to fight for his belt or the opportunity to win back the WBA regular title. He also stated that Frezo Quendo and Trevor Bryan are also lined up for the belt. Meaning they're lined up for title shots as well. He said that in the ideal world, he would fight all 3 of them in the next 3 months. That's Manuel Charr, Frezo Quendo and Trevor Bryan. But it's probably not going to work out that way, let's be honest. And he apparently says that in a sense they're all mandatory challenges, all mandatory defenses for him if he beats Dinu on Saturday. So don't know what's actually going on there. There's 2 different stories coming out of there. You got the one on BoxingScene.com where Charr's attorney basically is turning around and saying that he's not going to be stripped of the title because of this undisclosed issue, which from what it sounds like, Jarrell Miller's kind of let out of the bag by saying that one sample tested positive of Manuel Charr's and the other sample tested negative. But according to Jarrell Miller, the title's still going to be on the line come Saturday, when he steps in the ring with his opponent Dinu on Saturday night. So don't know what's quite going on there, to be honest with you. I guess I'll go with Jarrell Miller's story, to be honest with you. I haven't heard anything else, but we'll have to wait and see on Saturday night. Probably gonna have to wait till Saturday night to see if that belt is on the line or not. What's really frustrating here for me is that, okay, so he's tested positive on one sample but negative on the other sample, but yet that is still classed as a positive test, and he's been voted to, the WBA have voted to suspend him for 6 months, which means you're basically saying that he did cheat, but at the same time, one story, like I said, is saying that he's not going to be stripped for it. My point is here, right, whether he's being stripped for it or not doesn't matter. The fact that he's being served a 6-month ban, but then being told that once that ban's over, he can challenge for the title again. That doesn't make sense to me. Either he's guilty, like this is what I'm about. These boxing organizations always turn these things into a grey area, because they don't have a set of rules that they just diligently follow. They should all have the same rule, every single boxing commission, so they all can dish out, the penalties equally and fairly across all 4 major sanctioning belts. But they don't do that, right? They make it confusing instead. So either has he passed or hasn't he passed, right? So if he has failed the drug test and you voted to ban him for 6 months, then what the hell are you doing giving him a shot at the title once his 6 months suspension is over? That doesn't make sense to me. You should be dropping him to the bottom of your rankings or something, you know, knocking him out of the top 10 or something like that, for that, making him work his way back into the top 10 and into title contention. They did the same with Povetkin. Povetkin got a 6 months ban, do you remember, from the WBA, and then as soon as he came back, they gave him 1 or 2 fights and made him the mandatory challenger to Anthony Joshua. Like, you're basically rewarding a fighter. There's no punishment there. There's no punishment whatsoever. I think, I've said this before, a 6 month ban for these fighters is absolutely nothing. Yeah, it is a break between fights. 6 months. At least give them this whole 6 months for your first offense or whatever it is nonsense. At least give them 12 months. Make them really feel it. Slap them with a fine. And definitely don't give him like an automatic shot back at the title, because that's ridiculous. Has he failed or has he not? You know? And if you vote to say that, yeah, we're going to give him a 6 month suspension for the failed test because it's still classed as a failed test, then that means he's failed. But you're rewarding him instead of saying, all right, take a 6 month holiday. We're not going to fine you. And when you come back, we'll give you a shot at the title. How's that sound? So where's the penalty? Where's the penalty in all this? Where's the, I suppose, the punishment, the disciplinary here for Manuel Charr? It's ridiculous. You know, when it came to Luis Ortiz and he failed his drug test, remember before the Wilder fight, when it was first scheduled, yeah, for the blood pressure pills, yeah, the WBA stripped Ortiz out of the rankings altogether, and gave him, was it a year suspension? I know it was his second failed drug test under the WBA or whatever, in regards, I know it was done under the WBC, but the WBA took necessary action against Luis Ortiz for that. Fair enough, whatever. But it's like you got 2 sets of different rules for, you know, different fighters, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It sounds like a shady grey area for me in terms of what they've done here. It's like the same thing with Povetkin, you know, 6 month layoff. Here you go and have a holiday, and when you come back, we'll give you a couple of fights, make you the mandatory challenger to Anthony Joshua. You know, none of these boxing organisations are serious about cleaning up the sport, in my opinion. None of them, in terms of PED abuse. Yeah, it's turning into a joke now. Like I said, if the guy's failed the drug test, if according to your rules, regardless of the fact that he's had 1 sample pass, 1 sample fail, regardless, you're still saying that's still a failed test and we voted to suspend you for 6 months. That's what you're basically saying. You're basically saying he should cheat. So you should be dealing with him as a cheat and saying 6 month suspension, you're not going to get a shot at the title, we're going to knock you out of the top 10 of the rankings for it, etc, etc. That's a punishment. But to turn around and say to him, take 6 months off, and when you come back you can challenge for the title again, is a joke, in my opinion. Look, let me know what you think. As always, guys, like, share and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cypherbox reminding you to keep it real.